Hello, and welcome to Whisper Garden, a quiet corner of YouTube where gentle stories help you slow down, unwind, and drift off to sleep. You'll find a new sleepy time tale here every week, told in soft, soothing tones designed to calm your mind and ease you into restful slumber. I'd be so grateful if you'd like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's a small gesture that makes a big difference and helps more dreamers like you find their way here. Sweet dreams. Tonight's story will help you release the day's stress and drift into peaceful sleep within the next 30 minutes. As you listen, your mind will naturally let go of racing thoughts, your body will sink deeper into comfort, and sleep will come to you as gently as a warm breeze through an open window. We're visiting the tiny hidden shop of Whiskerly, a gentle mouse who collects the softest yawns from sleeping creatures throughout the forest. In his glowing sanctuary, filled with bottles of dreams and sighs, time moves as slowly as honey, and every breath you take becomes deeper and more restful than the last. Get comfortable now, close your eyes, and let your breathing naturally slow as we begin this gentle journey. Feel your body settling into your bed like a leaf floating down to rest on still water. There's nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do. Just listen, breathe, and let yourself sink into this peaceful story. Chapter 1. The Breathing Floorboards. In the quiet house where you rest tonight, the wooden beams above you stretch and sigh just like your chest, rising and falling in the most natural rhythm. Listen closely, and you can hear the gentle creaking of the wood as it expands and contracts, breathing along with you in perfect harmony. The floorboards beneath know the secret of deep rest. They've held this house steady through countless peaceful nights, and they understand how to settle, how to be still, how to let go of the day's small tensions. Your body knows this wisdom too. With each breath you take, you're remembering how to be as steady and calm as these ancient wooden beams. Feel your chest rising now, slowly, like the house breathing around you. The air moves in through your nose, cool and clean, filling your lungs the way a gentle breeze fills the curtains at your window. And as you breathe out, long and slow, you're releasing everything you carried from today, every worry dissolving like morning mist, every tension melting away like snow in warm sunlight. The walls around you seem to pulse gently with your breathing, in and out, in and out. The whole house is breathing with you now, creating a cocoon of perfect safety and warmth. You're growing smaller with each breath, more relaxed, more peaceful, until you feel as tiny and content as a field mouse tucked safely in its burrow. Smaller and smaller you become until you notice something magical. There, in the wooden wall beside your bed, a tiny knot in the wood begins to glow with the softest golden light. It's no bigger than a coin, this little doorway, but it pulses gently like a sleeping heartbeat, inviting you to step through into somewhere even more peaceful than where you already rest. Chapter 2. Entering the quiet shop. You slip through the glowing knot in the wood as easily as stepping through an open door, and find yourself in the most extraordinary place. The air here is golden and warm, like sunlight filtered through honey. Dust motes float lazily in the gentle light, each one sparkling as it drifts slowly downward in spirals and curves, never in any hurry to reach the floor. This is Whiskerly's shop, though it feels more like stepping inside a dewdrop or being wrapped in the softest blanket ever woven. The walls curve gently around you, lined with shelves that stretch up into the dim golden shadows above. On every shelf, hundreds of tiny bottles catch the light, each one glowing softly from within like captured moonbeams. There are no clocks here, no sounds except the gentle settling of dust and the whisper-soft hush of sleeping things. Time moves differently in this place. Slower, gentler, the way time moves in dreams or in the moments just before sleep takes you completely. Whiskerly himself sits behind a small wooden counter, no bigger than a matchbox. He's a mouse, with fur the color of twilight, soft gray with touches of silver that shimmer when he moves. His eyes are dark and kind, filled with the gentle wisdom of one who understands the sacred nature of rest and dreams. When he sees you, he doesn't speak. He simply nods once, slowly, and his whiskers twitch in the tiniest of smiles. He understands why you've come. Without a word, he gestures to a small cushioned chair beside his counter. The cushion is made of something impossibly soft, perhaps woven moonlight, or maybe the downy underfeathers of sleeping swans. As you settle into it, you feel your hips relax completely, all the tension from sitting and standing throughout your day simply melting away into the welcoming softness. Whiskerly places a tiny cup before you, no bigger than a thimble, filled with something warm and sweet that tastes like chamomile and starlight and the first breath of spring morning. As you sip it slowly, you feel your jaw soften, your tongue relax against the roof of your mouth, and even the muscles around your eyes begin to loosen and let go. A blanket appears around your shoulders. When did he place it there? You didn't see him move, but now you're wrapped in the softest wool, warm and comforting as a mother's embrace. Your shoulders drop and settle as the gentle weight of the blanket reminds your body how good it feels to be supported, to be cared for, to let someone else tend to your comfort. Your feet find their way to a small, round poof, positioned perfectly by a candle that flickers with a flame so steady and peaceful it seems to breathe. The warmth from the candle kisses your toes, through your socks, and your feet soften and spread, releasing the day's steps and hurry and all the places they've carried you. You are safe here. You are welcomed here. You are exactly where you need to be. Chapter 3. The Bottles of Yawns. Whiskerly rises from his chair with movements as slow and deliberate as honey dripping from a spoon. He moves to the shelves behind him, his tiny paws trailing along the bottles as he considers which one to share with you tonight. Each bottle catches the candlelight differently. Some glow warm amber like late afternoon sun. Others shimmer silver, dimple like moonlight on still water, and a few pulse with the soft green light of fireflies dancing in a summer meadow. He lifts one bottle carefully, cradling it in both paws. The label, written in the tiniest, most delicate script, reads, Garden Fawn, 12:43 IEM. The liquid inside swirls gently, and you can almost see the peaceful dream of the fawn who released this yawn. The soft grass beneath her spotted coat, the gentle breeze through the oak leaves above, the perfect safety of a mother's presence nearby. Whiskerly removes the cork with the softest pop, and immediately a warm breeze flows from the bottle, carrying with it the scent of wild roses and new grass, and the deep, contented sigh of perfect rest. The yawn itself emerges like a ribbon of silver mist, floating upward in lazy spirals before drifting toward a window you hadn't noticed before. A window no bigger than a coin, which opens onto the star-filled night beyond. You watch the yawn float through the tiny window and disappear into the darkness, carrying its gift of peaceful sleep to whoever needs it most in the wide, sleeping world outside. Whiskerly returns to the shelves and selects another bottle. This one reads, Baby Badger, Afternoon Nap, Under the Old Willow. When he opens it, the yawn that emerges is the color of earth and moss, and it smells like the deepest, safest burrow where no harsh sounds can penetrate, where the world above seems as distant as the stars. Again, the ritual, the gentle opening, the patient waiting as the yawn unfurls itself like a flower blooming in slow motion, the whispered blessing you don't quite hear but somehow understand, and then the floating journey to the tiny window and out into the night. One by one, Whiskerly opens the bottles. Each yawn is different. Some smell like lavender fields at sunset, others like pine forests after rain, still others like the warm fur of sleeping puppies, or the clean cotton of sun-dried sheets. But all of them carry the same gift, the deep, soul-satisfying peace of perfect rest. With each bottle opened, you feel your own eyelids growing heavier. Your breathing naturally slows to match the gentle rhythm of Whiskerly's movements. Open the bottle, wait for the yawn to unfurl, whisper the blessing, watch it float away. Open the bottle, wait, whisper, watch. The pattern becomes a meditation, a prayer, a lullaby without words. Chapter 4. The Music Box and the Ritual. Between bottles, Whiskerly winds a tiny music box that sits on his counter. The melody it plays has no name, but you recognize it somehow. It's the song your heart makes when you're completely at peace, the tune that plays in the spaces between your thoughts when your mind is perfectly still. The music box plays the same gentle phrase over and over, 3 ascending notes like drops of water falling into a quiet pool, followed by a soft descending sigh that seems to carry all the day's worries away with it. The melody never changes, never grows more complex or exciting. It simply continues, steady and soothing as a mother's heartbeat, heard from the womb. Whiskerly listens to the music box as intently as if he's never heard it before, though you somehow know he's wound it thousands of times, listened to this same simple melody through countless peaceful nights. His ears twitch slightly with each note, and his whiskers quiver in contentment. There's something about his complete attention to this simple, repetitive tune that helps your own mind settle even deeper into stillness. The ritual continues, bottle after bottle, yawn after yawn, each one a gift of peace, floating out through the tiny window into the sleeping world. You lose count of how many bottles he opens. Was it 7? 12? The number doesn't matter. What matters is the gentle repetition, the way each yawn takes with it another layer of your day's tension, another fragment of worry or hurry or anything that doesn't serve your peaceful rest. Some yawns are small and delicate, like the size of sleeping mice. Others are deep and rich, like the contented groans of bears settling into their winter dens. One yawn that emerges from a bottle labeled Old Oak Tree First Day of Autumn is so vast and slow that it seems to contain entire seasons, the gradual cooling of air, the gentle release of leaves, the peaceful surrender to dormancy and dreams. As you watch each yawn float toward the window, you begin to feel as though you're floating too. Your body grows lighter and softer with each passing moment until you feel as insubstantial as the ribbon-like yawns themselves. The boundaries between your body and the golden air around you begin to blur, and you realize you're not just watching the yawns drift toward the window, you're drifting with them. Chapter 5. The Journey of the Breeze. The next yawn that emerges from its bottle seems different somehow, larger, more luminous, and when it reaches the tiny window, instead of disappearing into the night, it pauses and turns back toward you. Without thinking, you reach out to touch it, and the moment your fingers make contact with the silvery mist, you find yourself dissolving into it, becoming one with this gentle breath of perfect peace. Now you're floating through the window, riding the night breeze as it carries you over the sleeping world below. The view from here is like something from the most beautiful dream. Rolling hills, covered in soft grass that waves gently in the starlight, forests where every tree sleeps standing up, and meadows dotted with flowers that close their petals for the night. The breeze carries you over a small village where every window glows with the soft light of contentment. In one house, a family of rabbits sleeps, curled together in a nest of hay and lavender. In another, a wise old owl sits perfectly still on his perch, not sleeping but resting in that deep, peaceful way that owls know, his eyes half closed as he listens to the night's gentle symphony. You float over a stream that murmurs the softest lullaby as it flows over smooth stones. The water is so clear and still, it perfectly reflects the stars above, creating a double heaven, one in the sky and one in the water below. Fish sleep suspended in the gentle current, their fins moving just enough to keep them steady, their mouths opening and closing in tiny, fish-sized yawns. The breeze carries you past a family of deer sleeping in a meadow, their spotted coats looking like scattered flower petals in the starlight. Past a pond where frogs float motionless on lily pads, their deep, rhythmic breathing creating tiny ripples that spread outward in perfect circles. Past an old barn where horses stand sleeping on their feet, their ears occasionally twitching to brush away a moth or catch the distant hoot of an owl. Everything you see is at rest, but it's not the empty rest of things that are merely inactive. It's the full, rich rest of living things that are completely at peace with themselves and their place in the world. The deer don't worry about tomorrow's weather. The fish don't fret about the current's destination. The flowers don't fear the dawn's arrival. They simply rest, completely present in this moment of perfect peace. Chapter 5. The Journey of the Breeze. The next yawn that emerges from its bottle seems different somehow, larger, more luminous, and when it reaches the tiny window, instead of disappearing into the night, it pauses and turns back toward you. Without thinking, you reach out to touch it, and the moment your fingers make contact with the silvery mist, you find yourself dissolving into it, becoming one with this gentle breath of perfect peace. Now you're floating through the window, riding the night breeze as it carries you over the sleeping world below. The view from here is like something from the most beautiful dream. Rolling hills, covered in soft grass that waves gently in the starlight, forests where every tree sleeps standing up, and meadows dotted with flowers that close their petals for the night. The breeze carries you over a small village where every window glows with the soft light of contentment. In one house, a family of rabbits sleeps, curled together in a nest of hay and lavender. In another, a wise old owl sits perfectly still on his perch, not sleeping but resting in that deep, peaceful way that owls know, his eyes half closed as he listens to the night's gentle symphony. You float over a stream that murmurs the softest lullaby as it flows over smooth stones. The water is so clear and still, it perfectly reflects the stars above, creating a double heaven, one in the sky and one in the water below. Fish sleep suspended in the gentle current, their fins moving just enough to keep them steady, their mouths opening and closing in tiny, fish-sized yawns. The breeze carries you past a family of deer sleeping in a meadow, their spotted coats looking like scattered flower petals in the starlight. Past a pond where frogs float motionless on lily pads, their deep, rhythmic breathing creating tiny ripples that spread outward in perfect circles. Past an old barn where horses stand sleeping on their feet, their ears occasionally twitching to brush away a moth or catch the distant hoot of an owl. Everything you see is at rest, but it's not the empty rest of things that are merely inactive. It's the full, rich rest of living things that are completely at peace with themselves and their place in the world. The deer don't worry about tomorrow's weather. The fish don't fret about the current's destination. The flowers don't fear the dawn's arrival. They simply rest, completely present in this moment of perfect peace. Chapter 6. The Counting Hills. As the breeze carries you further into the night, you begin to see a series of hills rising from the landscape ahead. There are 9 hills in all, each one taller and more softly rounded than the last, like sleeping giants covered in velvet blankets of grass and wild flowers. The first hill is soft as velvet, its surface covered in moss so green and cushioning that it seems to invite every weary traveler to lie down and rest. As you float over it, you can feel its gentleness calling to you, promising that here, on this first hill, you could release the day's minor worries and let them sink down into the earth to be transformed into nutrients for the growing things. The second hill is round as a pillow, its curves so perfectly designed for comfort that just looking at it makes your neck relax and your head settle deeper into whatever supports it. This hill whispers that here you could let go of the tension you carry in your shoulders, the weight you hold in your jaw, the tightness you maintain around your eyes. The third hill is dark and deep and low, covered in shadows that aren't frightening but welcoming, like the shadows cast by a beloved tree on a hot summer day. This hill offers you the gift of deeper letting go. Here you could release not just today's tensions, but this week's accumulated fatigue, allowing it all to flow downward into the hill's patient embrace. The fourth hill glows with the soft silver light of early dawn. Though dawn is still hours away, its light doesn't wake or energize. Instead, it illuminates the peaceful truth that you are exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be here. This hill invites you to let go of the need to be anywhere else or anyone other than who you are in this moment. The fifth hill is covered in flowers that bloom only in starlight, pale petals that glow like captured moonbeams, releasing a fragrance that smells like forgiveness and acceptance. Here you can release any judgment you hold against yourself, any criticism or impatience, allowing these harsh voices to be transformed into the gentle understanding that flows like honey over this hill's flowered slopes. The sixth hill rises higher, wreathed in mist that sparkles with tiny points of light like earth-bound stars. This mist offers you the gift of forgetting, not the loss of important memories, but the gentle release of everything that no longer serves you. Old hurts, disappointments, regrets, all of these can dissolve into the sparkling mist, leaving only wisdom and peace behind. The seventh hill is the tallest yet, its peak touching the lowest stars. From here, you can see how vast and beautiful the sleeping world is, how many millions of creatures rest in peace at this very moment. This hill reminds you that you're part of something much larger than your individual concerns, connected to the great web of rest and renewal that embraces all living things. The eighth hill seems to be made of clouds that have settled onto the earth for the night. It's so soft and insubstantial that you feel you could sink right through it, falling gently into the deepest rest you've ever known. This hill offers you the ultimate letting go, the release of the need to stay awake, to remain alert, to keep yourself conscious and in control. The ninth and final hill stands like a gentle giant against the star-filled sky. It doesn't rise sharply, but slopes upward in the most gradual, comfortable way, like a pathway made for peaceful walking. This hill seems to be waiting for you, and as the breeze carries you toward its welcoming slope, you understand that this is where your journey will end, or perhaps where it will transform into something even more peaceful than travel. Regrets. All of these can dissolve into the sparkling mist, leaving only wisdom and peace behind. The seventh hill is the tallest yet, its peak touching the lowest stars. From here, you can see how vast and beautiful the sleeping world is, how many millions of creatures rest in peace at this very moment. This hill reminds you that you're part of something much larger than your individual concerns, connected to the great web of rest and renewal that embraces all living things. The eighth hill seems to be made of clouds that have settled onto the earth for the night. It's so soft and insubstantial that you feel you could sink right through it, falling gently into the deepest rest you've ever known. This hill offers you the ultimate letting go, the release of the need to stay awake, to remain alert, to keep yourself conscious and in control. The ninth and final hill stands like a gentle giant against the star-filled sky. It doesn't rise sharply, but slopes upward in the most gradual, comfortable way, like a pathway made for peaceful walking. This hill seems to be waiting for you, and as the breeze carries you toward its welcoming slope, you understand that this is where your journey will end. Or perhaps where it will transform into something even more peaceful than travel. Chapter 7. The Lullaby in the Wind. As you float over the ninth hill, something magical happens. The breeze that has been carrying you begins to change, to transform. Instead of moving forward, it begins to spiral gently downward, like a leaf finding its perfect resting place. And as it spirals, it begins to sing. The song has no words, but you understand its meaning perfectly. It sounds like light filtering through water, like dust motes dancing in afternoon sun, like the slow hum of stars as they wheel across the night sky. It's the lullaby that the universe sings to itself, the gentle song that helps all things rest and renew and begin again. The melody wraps around you like the softest silk, finding its way into your breathing, your heartbeat, the gentle rhythm of your thoughts. You feel it settling into your chest, where it hums quietly like a contented cat. Your arms seem to float in this melody, supported by its gentle current. Your eyelids grow heavy as the song flows over them like warm honey. The lullaby tells you stories without words, stories of seeds sleeping in dark earth, waiting patiently for spring's first warm rain. Stories of mountains resting under blankets of snow, dreaming of the flowers that will bloom on their slopes when the world warms again. Stories of oceans breathing in and out against countless shores, their vast, slow rhythm unchanged since the world began. And somehow, in this wordless song, you hear your own story too, the story of a day that began with awakening and will end with peaceful rest, the story of a body that carried you faithfully through all of today's moments and now deserves the gift of complete relaxation, the story of a mind that worked and worried and wondered, and now can finally be still. The breeze, sets you down gently on the soft grass at the top of the ninth hill, and you realize you can still hear the lullaby, though now it seems to be coming from everywhere at once, from the grass beneath you, from the air around you, from the very earth itself. It's not separate from you anymore. You're part of it, and it's part of you. This gentle song that helps the world rest. Far below, you can see Whiskerly's shop through its tiny window, the golden light still glowing softly in the darkness. And somehow you can see Whiskerly himself still sitting at his counter, still listening to his music box, still tending to his bottles of collected yawns. But now you understand something you didn't before. The yawns he collects don't just come from sleeping animals. They come from anyone who needs to release the day and surrender to rest. They come from people like you. Chapter 8, Preparing for Rest. The lullaby continues to hum around you as you find yourself back in Whiskerly's shop, though you don't remember making the journey. Perhaps you never left. Perhaps the entire floating journey was just another kind of yawn, a breath of peace that carried you inward rather than outward into the deepest chambers of your own need for rest. Whiskerly nods once when he sees you, that same slow, understanding nod he gave when you first arrived. Without speaking, he begins to clean up his workspace, moving with the same deliberate gentleness he's shown all evening. He places the cork back in the last bottle he opened, his movements so slow and careful that you can feel your own energy slowing to match his pace. One by one, he returns the bottles to their proper places on the shelves. Each bottle finds its home with a soft clink that sounds like a distant wind chime, or like raindrops falling on leaves, or like the gentle settling of bones into perfect alignment. The sound is rhythmic, hypnotic, clink, pause, clink, pause, clink, like a clock that measures not time, but the gradual descent into deeper and deeper peace. As he works, the golden light in the shop begins to dim, not flickering or fading abruptly, but settling into a softer, more intimate glow, like candlelight seen through gauze. The shadows don't grow darker, they grow warmer, more welcoming, like the shadows in a beloved room just before sleep. When all the bottles are returned to their places, Whiskerly pulls out a tiny matchbox from beneath his counter. Inside, lined with the softest cotton you've ever seen, is a perfect little bed. The cotton has been fluffed and arranged with such care that it looks like a cloud that's been gentled and shaped specifically for sleeping. He gestures to it with one small paw, his whiskers twitching in the tiniest of smiles. You find yourself growing smaller as you approach the matchbox bed, or perhaps the bed is growing larger. It doesn't matter which. What matters is that when you lie down in it, the cotton embraces you perfectly, supporting every part of your body in exactly the way it needs to be supported. Your spine aligns naturally, your shoulders settle, your hips sink into the perfect softness. The cotton seems to breathe with you, rising and falling gently as your chest rises and falls. Whiskerly pulls a blanket over you, not cotton this time, but something even softer. It might be woven from the down of sleeping swans, or from the silk of contented caterpillars, or from something that doesn't exist in the waking world but is perfectly real here, in this place between waking and sleeping. The blanket has no weight, but it has perfect warmth, settling over you like a gentle blessing. Your breathing naturally slows to match the rhythm of the candles flickering. In with the brightening of the flame, out with its gentle settling back to steady glow. In and out. The candle seems to be breathing with you, or perhaps you're breathing with it. Either way, you're both perfectly synchronized now, both settling into the deep rhythm of rest. Chapter 9. Whiskerly Sleeps 2. When you're perfectly settled in your matchbox bed, Whiskerly moves to a tiny rocking chair in the corner of the shop. The chair is carved from a single piece of wood that's been worn smooth by countless nights of gentle rocking. He settles into it with a soft sigh, his tail curling around his feet, his paws folded neatly in his lap. He rocks once, very slowly, the chair creaking just once, with the softest, most comforting sound. The sound of old wood that knows its purpose, that has provided comfort through countless peaceful evenings. He rocks twice, the creak coming again, even softer this time, like a whispered good night. And then he's still, perfectly balanced in the chair. Not asleep exactly, but resting in that deep, peaceful way that small creatures know. His breathing becomes very slow and even. You can see his tiny chest rising and falling in perfect rhythm, and somehow his breathing begins to synchronize with yours. Together, you breathe in the golden, honey-scented air of the shop. Together, you breathe out any last fragments of the day that don't belong in this peaceful moment. The shop itself seems to settle around both of you. The wooden walls creak once, softly, the way houses do when they're preparing for the deep quiet of night. The candles flicker lower, their flames growing smaller and steadier. The bottles on the shelves seem to glow a little less brightly, as if they, too, are preparing for rest. But it's not a dimming that brings darkness or cold. It's a dimming that brings deeper warmth, closer comfort, the kind of gentle twilight that makes small spaces feel safer and more welcoming. The shop wraps around you both like a cocoon, protecting you from anything harsh or hurried or demanding that might exist in the world beyond its curved walls. Whiskerless ears twitch once, very gently, as if he's listening to something you can't quite hear. Perhaps it's the sound of all the yawns he's released tonight, floating over the sleeping world, finding their way to the creatures who need them most. Perhaps it's the distant music of the spheres, the gentle song that stars sing as they wheel across the sky. Or perhaps it's simply the sound of perfect peace, the hum that the universe makes when everything is exactly as it should be, as whiskers quiver slightly with each breath, and you find yourself watching this tiny movement with complete fascination. There's something hypnotic about the regular flutter of his whiskers, the way they move in perfect time with his breathing, in perfect time with yours, in perfect time with the gentle pulse of the candlelight and the soft settling of the shop around you. You realize that Whiskerly doesn't need to speak because silence is his language. His entire presence is a wordless communication of safety, of peace, of perfect understanding. He understands why you came here tonight. He understands what you need. And without saying anything at all, he's given you exactly what your heart was seeking: a place to rest, a moment of perfect peace, and the gentle permission to let go of everything that doesn't serve your deepest well-being. Chapter 10: The Descent into Sleep. The whole shop breathes quietly now, in and out, in and out. The candles breathe with their steady flickering. The wooden walls breathe with their gentle creaking. The bottles breathe with their soft glowing. Whiskerly breathes in his rocking chair, and you breathe in your matchbox bed, perfectly synchronized with all of it, part of this gentle symphony of rest. You feel your thoughts beginning to soften around the edges, like watercolors bleeding gently into wet paper. The sharp distinctions between one thought and another begin to blur, and instead of thinking in words and sentences, you find yourself thinking in colors and textures and the most peaceful sensations. Your body feels as though it's melting into the cotton beneath you, becoming part of the softness, losing the boundaries between where you end and the bed begins. Your arms feel so relaxed they might be made of warm honey. Your legs sink so deeply into comfort that they seem to disappear entirely. Your torso feels wide and soft and perfectly supported, like you're floating on the gentlest cloud. The sounds of the shop grow softer and more distant. The creaking of Whiskerly's chair becomes like the sound of waves heard from very far away. The flickering of the candles sounds like whispered lullabies. Even your own breathing becomes a distant, peaceful sound, like rain falling on a roof. When you're safe and warm inside, one breath and another breath and another breath, each one slower than the last, each one carrying you deeper into this perfect peace. You don't need to count them or control them or think about them at all. They simply continue, like the tide flowing in and out, like the earth turning slowly through space, like all the natural rhythms that need no conscious guidance. Your eyelids, which have been growing heavier throughout this entire journey, now feel as soft and heavy as flower petals touched by evening dew. They flutter once, very gently, and then settle closed, not with the effort of closing them, but with the natural surrender of letting them fall, like leaves finding their resting place on still water. Behind your closed eyes, the golden light of the shop continues to glow, but now it's not outside you, it's inside you, warm and gentle and perfectly peaceful. This light doesn't illuminate anything in particular. It simply exists as pure comfort, pure safety, pure rest. You are safe. You are warm. You are perfectly, completely still. There's nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go, no one you need to be, except exactly who you are in this moment. Nothing to accomplish, nothing to worry about, nothing to figure out or fix or improve. Only this perfect peace, this complete rest, this gentle surrender to sleep. Chapter 11. Sleep now. The golden light grows softer and softer and softer still. The sounds of the shop fade to the gentlest whisper, then to silence. So complete, it's like being wrapped in the softest velvet. Your breathing becomes so slow and peaceful that each breath seems to last forever, carrying you deeper and deeper into perfect rest. You are floating now, floating on peace, floating on comfort, floating on the deepest relaxation you've ever known. There's nothing solid beneath you, nothing rigid around you, nothing demanding or urgent or requiring your attention. Only softness, only peace, only the gentle descent into sleep. Your mind, which has been gradually quieting throughout this journey, now settles into perfect stillness. Thoughts don't race or demand attention. They simply fade like mist in morning sunlight, leaving behind only peaceful emptiness, only gentle quiet, only the deep rest that your soul has been craving. Sleep now. You are so ready for sleep now, so perfectly prepared for the deepest, most restorative. Your body knows exactly how to sleep. It's been practicing this sacred art every night of your life. Your mind knows how to let go. It's done this thousands of times before. Your heart knows how to rest. It beats steadily and peacefully, requiring no conscious effort from you. Sleep now. Let yourself sink completely into this perfect peace. Let go of today. Let go of tomorrow. Let go of anything except this moment of pure rest. You are safe. You are loved. You are exactly where you belong. Sleep now. Sleep now. May your dreams be gentle. May your sleep be deep. And when you wake, may you carry a little peace with you. If you enjoyed tonight's story, feel free to return any time. Good night and sweet dreams.